Okay, good morning, gardening friends. I'm over at the terrace garden at my real home. I'm not even going to show you guys the upstairs area today because it's starting to get so overgrown and depressing looking. It's even overgrown in this area. Like, look at all of that grass that I need to get in there and get. You can see some of my salvia peeking out between the weeds here. But I just briefly stopped by to pick up the mail. Hey, Bill. Anyway, I paused to say hi to my neighbor. But I'm making this video. I want to go to my other home and make some plans about what changes I want to make to this garden next spring, and that's what I'm kind of doing this video for, so I can take a look at how it is right now and use this short video for some of my spring planning purposes. I know one of the things that I definitely want to do is in the fall I'm going to dig up these dahlia tubers that are right here, and then in the spring I would like to plant those here in the front where they can be more visible. I didn't realize how short they were going to stay, and I assume, and hopefully I'm right, that next year they'll also be somewhat short. Plus I think that the darker foliage would look good in the front. Now that I have this potato vine thing going on, which I do plan to repeat next year. So I've got the potato vine hanging over the ledge in various places, and I just think it would look really nice to pull that dark, short dahlia to the front. And those get, if you don't remember, because there's not very many blooms right now, they get this pretty little bloom on them. What other things had I thought about? I'm probably going to end up moving this oregano to the back. Maybe I'll even put it right there when I move that. I told you guys I'm going to move this Monarda, this bee balm that's right here. It's one of the just native species type, and it does get super tall, and it also gets, what is that mold called? I always forget. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. Anyway, it gets that. And so I'm going to move that to a less visible place in my garden up in the, what's kind of like my little meadow area. And that'll just be like in the background. It's good for the, pollinators and stuff. So I don't want to get rid of it. It is a native plant. So it has a high value in the garden. But I love this oregano. I even like how it's spilling over the border. But I feel like it would look really good in that corner there, kind of coming forward. And I want to add it in other places too. So my lamb's ear is getting buried from this potato vine. I think I might have to move the lamb's ear next year on both ends. It's just kind of getting overtaken. I know if I move this oregano, it won't be as buried over here, but right now it is getting pretty buried by that oregano, and then on this side it's getting buried by all the potato vine that's growing up and through it. In fact, let me do this because I don't want it dying before I get a chance to move things. I wish the potato vine would just come back for me, but I don't believe that it will. It's not, I don't believe it's zoned to come back here. I'm in zone 6A supposedly now, but like I've mentioned in previous videos, last winter there was one night we got down to -22, and there was multiple nights that we were definitely below 10 below. We were like -10, -15, stuff like that. So I don't know that I don't think the potato vine will come back for sure. And I'm afraid to leave the dahlias in because I think they won't come back if I leave them in. What else? I want to pull out more of these cosmos. I don't want to have those down there next year. They're just too weedy looking. I was seeing how it would look if I left them in the back of this lower terrace, but I've decided that for sure next year I only want things that stay lower than the wall so that we can still see the wall in the background, because I think that's really pretty. And the same thing on the next level terrace. So all of these cosmos, anything that comes up next year that is reseeded, I'm just going to move it up to my pollinator garden, not pollinator garden, my meadow garden that's going to be up there on the east side of my house. In this area over here, I know you can't really see it, but I have some pink salvia planted in here that the grass is like taller than it. I've got some veronica. I have a baptisia right there, which is, I see it peeking out, but it's not quite big yet. Next year it should get pretty decent size. Not real thrilled with how my Russian sage did this year. I was hoping it was going to be big and beautiful. Once I get this Monarda moved out of the way, you will see it more though next year, so that will be pretty. But I think I need to add like maybe like another gallon or 2 gallon size Russian sages to the front there, just to give it more volume even. Look at how pretty my 4 o'clocks are. Again, this is its first year. It's a teeny bit messy because there is some grass and stuff growing in there, and I haven't been here to pay attention to it and weed it and everything, but I really like this here. The only downside of having the 4 o'clocks as part of this little front terrace display is that for much of the day they're closed. So, you know, they just look like, say like this. Whereas you only see this open stage if you're here early in the morning or in the evenings. But I like how it's falling over the wall like that, like a container plant that is cascading over. I really enjoy that part of it. And I like the riot of colors. Let's get a close-up on some of these pretty ones. They even have some mixed colors in here. Just really, really pretty. So I'm loving those. I'm tempted to even take it up to this next level, but I think that would be a bit much. Plus, I don't think they grew until around July is when they really shot forward. So you've got that like May and possibly even June time frame when they're not barely poking out of the ground yet. Here's some pretty like yellow and pink striped ones that are in there. Just gorgeous. I love how they like self-pollinate and come up with these new colors. Now that I've kind of figured out how the yarrow works, I'm excited to do this better next year. Trim it back in the spring and make it stay shorter for the whole year, the whole season. And I think that's gonna improve its appearance. So yeah, I think once I get the cosmos out of there and obviously get some weeding done in the grass and everything, this area is looking really good. I'm going to keep on adding like more sedums and short lower growing plants in here in kind of this middle section. What else? I have a couple of little sage cuttings that earlier in the season, like in early spring, when I cut back the dead off of that, it started, I don't remember why. I was cutting back the dead, but some of the pieces looked alive enough that I thought that they might work as starts, and I was correct. So all I did was I just plopped them in here along the front, and some of them did take, not many. I think I must have done that with about probably 15 different little cuttings, and they didn't all make it, but that does give me these. I'll probably transplant next year. I will definitely transplant them to somewhere up in the upper terrace. I would like to start a little, like a swath of that sage over there. And I'm also debating on, like I said before, moving this lamb's ear. So I like it as my silver accents. I don't want it right next to the sage. So one of these things is getting moved. I just haven't really decided yet. But I would like to start adding something to the front of this second terrace border that kind of creates a more organized, you know, front, so that it kind of, you know how when you see like boxwoods that are short and then you've got like taller plants in the back, like your rose shrubs or, you know, whatever. It could be any kind of taller plant, but the boxwood just kind of makes that organized little front border. And I'm thinking I could do that with the lamb's ear, just kind of running it along the front of my second terrace there, and I think that would look really pretty. And since I have like 5 or 6 plants on each side over here in this late winter, early spring, if I divide all of those, I would have quite a bit that I could go ahead and get started up there. So that's kind of my thoughts with the lamb's ear and the sage, that I want to move that stuff around and get more of that effect, because I like the texture, I like the color, and I like that it doesn't really flower. I mean, I love having flowers in my garden, but I want to have some areas that are just foliage. And this right here, I think I bought this at my local Ace, like when they have their annuals out every year. And I wish I had paid more attention to what the name of this was, because I really like it, and I definitely don't think it will come back after winter. But I do plan to buy this again, and probably a lot more of it. So if I do see this again next year, I'm going to redo this planting, but maybe somewhere else, because it's right next to the potato vine, and you know, I like to space out my purple stuff. But isn't that gorgeous? And I like that it's just foliage. All of our asters are about to be exploding. Look at how full my 2 little aster shrubs that I had planted next to each other. I like how they've started to grow into one. That's great. I have another small oregano right here that I had transplanted from that other clump over there. And it looks like it's just about to open some flowers. So that's cool. This little snow in summer. I planted this kind of late, so it didn't flower for me, but it's really, I think this will be a nice addition to the front here next year. My Veronicas, my little sedums here. So that could be my plan, is like maybe I'll just keep doing like my sedums and low growing stuff like this here. Could be like the front of this border all the way down eventually, and then have my lamb's ears the front of that next terrace eventually. Okay guys, well, this wasn't a very exciting video, but I'm really starting to get depressed at how wild everything is getting. I did come last time and like cut back some of this dead salvia, well, just, you know, the overspent blooms, but I didn't get all of them. It's still way prettier than at my rental home where I'm trying to do gardening videos, and it's just like everything is so, you know, I'm buying clearance plants and just now planting them, and it's mid-August. So none of that stuff, unfortunately, is going to really look better till next year, and by then I will hopefully be moving back to my home, so we'll see. I'm just trying to keep myself entertained in the meantime. Oh, I see my yellow. This is my Firefly Peach Sky Yarrow. It opens pink or peach and then it turns yellow, but now it is brown, which means I should deadhead this, cut it back, and it might give us one more flush before the end of the year. I'm not sure, but here's some of the yellow before it starts turning brown. But yeah, this is really pretty for like 2 or 3 months. It's just gorgeous. It's dropping seeds, so get some more next year. My Artemisia trying its hardest to fight with this potato plant. I like how it's growing up through here. I just know that this needs a lot of sun, so that's kind of cool though, because it's a ground cover and I only bought like one little small mound, and it's kind of like working itself around, it looks like, and in between my potato plant and stuff. So I don't know, that effect doesn't bother me. I need to cut this back. I don't like those limbs coming out so far, and it was really beautiful in the spring. But I just think it'll look better if I trim it back. So, okay, well, I'm just stalling. You guys take care. Our season's almost wrapping up. So most of my gardening videos are probably going to be happening at the other house, unfortunately, from here on out until we come back in the spring to this garden. You can see some of my roses up there looking gorgeous. There is a Lady Shallotte. We'll see if we can get zoomed in on that. That's a gorgeous bloom. A little blurry on the zoom. And some of my icebergs, the white ones. And then that really pretty pink coral one that I don't know the name of. That was a rootstock rose from a grafted rose where the top portion died, and I decided to keep it, and I'm glad that I did because I really like the color of the roses that I am now getting. So despite not knowing their name, I think they're pretty. Alright guys, I'm gonna sign out. Talk to you next time. There she is, Miss America. Hi, little secret. Say hi to our friends. Hi. You just enjoying the sun? Yeah? Well, hello everybody. Vicki back again. You could probably tell in my last video I didn't really want to say goodbye. I forgot to mention yesterday that I did cut the lawn. And when I got back from the other house today, I made a couple changes. Didn't take too long. I decided I wanted to put this evergreen shrub right here next to the mailbox. And I'm going to put down, I also moved this rock border a little bit further out. So the reason I did that is because I could actually see there's an existing kind of rock border under there that has, I don't know, the ground's growing up over it. I'm going to put down some cardboard and mulch in this area to help suppress the grass and everything. I also planted my foxtrot panacetum grass, which looks pretty pathetic because it's been sitting in a pot and I've moved it like twice this year. But I'm going to leave it here, and this will be a donation to this house. But when this grows up, it'll be nice and healthy and green. It gets to like 4 feet tall with these beautiful, you know, little foxtail type seed heads. Around this time of year they start forming. So that'll be pretty. And this shrub right here should get 4 to 5 feet wide, so it should fill out that space nicely with the grass next to it on the end there. And I think that's going to help fill in this whole area to the side of the mailbox. So that's it, I guess. I just wanted to show you guys those little changes I made. And I'm just going to tag, or not tag, but I'm going to pin this to the end of my last video from the house, from the other house. Feels like I did something else that I forgot to show you. Well, there's one more very minor thing. I Was at Lowe's again, and you know how I had gotten a couple of yarrow in the back here, 1 and 2. I picked up a third one today because I felt like this little clump needed to be bigger, and this is the same type. It's just that it still has, well, it has flowers on it, whereas the other two don't. So this is what the other two will look like next year. This is kind of in their later stage. So when they first emerge, they're a very peachy orange color, and then they fade to like this yellow color, and then eventually they'll fade to like a brown when they're ready to be cut back, or if you want to save seeds or anything. I also picked up one more coneflower today, which I shoved into my little coneflower pot here, and it's a white one. So I did that because I just wanted to, I'm gonna have to get scissors. I wanted to add white to my little grouping of all the colors of coneflower. So my pile is getting a little bit smaller over here. My houseplants seem to be really liking being out here. They were all almost dead at the other house before I brought them over. Oh yeah, I still have these 2 pink yarrows that I'm trying to decide whether I'm going to plant them over here or try to plant them at my house. And I still have this rose to move. Oh look, I did cut those peonies down though, like I told you I would. So they are all cut down for the season, and next spring those 2 peonies will come up here and be all fresh and new. Actually, I'm sorry, this was one big grouping and the other one was over there, I believe. Got some naked ladies here, kind of at the tail end of their bloom. Yeah, that's it for changes at the Rensel house. Make sure I don't lose track of Secret. She's rolling around in the grass, enjoying the sun. She's still there. I thought about putting the pink yarrow in this bed because I do have more open space here, like right there. I thought about maybe right there, but then I feel like they would be too crammed next to each other. Sorry, we're right next to the hospital, so we get a lot of helicopters flying over. I could also put it right here. I could actually move this rock and take out this, I don't know what's, okay, so this is blanket flower. This is also blanket flower. I don't know what the heck happened to this one. And the rock didn't like break it or anything. It's just right there. But anyhow, it's looking pretty dead. So I could remove that and put those 2 pink coneflowers right here. But my concern is I don't have anything else pink in this border, and it just wouldn't really go. Before I decided I was taking those coneflowers with me to the other house, I had thought about putting both of this one, the one that gets the pink, and some of them are orange and some of them are yellow, and they're just all these various shades, whatever that one's called, Cherokee or Cheyenne Spirit. I always say Cherokee. It's Cheyenne Spirit. So I thought about putting those 2 in here somewhere, and that would introduce the pink but also would have the oranges and yellows and stuff, so I feel like it would have tied everything together, and then I could have added the pink yarrow to this bed, and then it would have made sense. But as it is, that's going with me, and all of this stuff is oranges and yellows. So what do you think? Anybody that's watching, what would you do? All right, I think that's it. Talk to you later.